We know, JB, we've covered a lot about those days between the 1st and the 11th with the
Okay, hey guys. Oh, right. Let's see. I'm going to just get to YouTube. This is crazy, okay? So the water bottle may not, be the thing, but what you're going to hear now is just crazy. And the Northport police admit there's mistakes there. So Josh Taylor, public information officer, is going to gave this interview, which I'm going to play for you. And I'm just going to play it for you. I'm not going to say anything yet. I just want to make sure that I'm on the right thing here. Okay. Am I on the right thing? Yes. Wait for a few more people to come on in. Hi, Faithful One. Hi, Kimberly. Nana, Patty, Lisa Hobbs, Tree Baby Tennessee. I don't know if notifications went out, but I did share it out there, so it should catch up with some people. I could just play it. I know I'll have to play it again. I don't know if you guys actually heard this yet. What is this? Oh. What is a stream marker? Oh, I just saw I can add a stream marker. Hi, Raina Marie. What a crazy story. Hi, Mimi, Aurora Rodriguez, Betsy's Barn, Flower Girl Phillips. I wanted to see what this is. I don't know what this is. I'm going to hit something that says add a stream marker. Stream marker added. Markers appear. Oh, every time I go to a thing, I can mark the stream. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to get the interview up here. I'll read this to you first. So, well, no, I think I'll just show you the interview first.
Admit to making mistakes in the Brian Laundrie case.
In that Wink News exclusive today from the Northport Police, and Wink News reporter Erica Jackson joins us live from Northport. Erica, the Northport Police Department thought that they had a close eye on Brian before he was reported missing.
Nicole, Northport PD had surveillance set up around the Laundrie home, but that strategy failed. The people responsible for watching the Laundrie house saw Brian leave in his silver Mustang, that car parked in the driveway, and then they thought they saw him come back a few days later. But no, they mixed up Brian and his mom.
She looks sad. Brian and his mom, okay? They mixed up Brian and his mom.
Like mother, like son. Do you see the resemblance? Northport police think Brian Laundrie looks very much like his mom, Roberta.
They're kind of built similarly.
Northport PD spokesperson Josh Taylor told me police started tracking Brian after Gabby Petito's family reported her missing in New York. That was Saturday, September 11th. Police watched him leave in his Mustang Monday, September 13th, and come back Wednesday, September 15th.
All I'm going to say is I know where Brian's at.
Chief Todd Garrison made that comment on Thursday, September 16th, confident he knew Brian was inside his parents' home. That changed the next day, Friday, September 17th.
When the family reported him on Friday, that was certainly news to us that they had not seen him. We thought that we'd seen Brian initially come back into that home on that Wednesday.
But Chris and Roberta Laundrie told investigators they hadn't seen their son since Tuesday. They later changed their statement to Monday.
Was it just someone else that you saw?
I believe it was his mom, who was wearing a baseball cap. They had returned from the park with that Mustang.
If they were tracking him and he left on Monday and they saw him come back on Wednesday and it was her, they weren't wondering where he was on Tuesday? Did they know exactly where he was on Tuesday? This doesn't make any sense. Even this part of it doesn't make sense.
So who does that, right? Like, if you think your son's missing since Tuesday, you're going to bring his car back to the home. So it didn't make sense that anyone would do that if he wasn't there. So the individual getting out with a baseball.
Who does that, he says? Who does that? He's like almost passing the blame off on who does that? Maybe people that are hiding something. I don't know. Who does that? Is that what you're going to do when your child's missing? Who does that? So, yeah, it's not their, they made a mistake, but hey, who does that? They weren't thinking of that.
Wildcat we thought was Brian.
Taylor admits it was a costly mistake.
No case is perfect.
He'll get one of those little signs that they used to sell in the pharmacies that had gift shops, and they're like, nobody's perfect. Remember those? Maybe he should get that. Nobody's perfect.
Now, we all know that Brian Laundrie went to the Myakkahatchee Environmental Park on September 13th and likely never left again. And if you look behind me, you can see that the Laundrie's infamous red truck is missing from the driveway. The family's attorney tells me that his parents are currently grieving at an undisclosed location.
Okay, I'll play that again in a minute for anyone that's coming in, but hold on one second to me. Why can't I? Okay, let me pull this over here. I just want to go back to the chat for a second to see what you guys are saying. Where's my chat? Chat. What happened to the chat? Here it is. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, Raina, let me see what you guys are saying here about this. You just had a shooting at the Boise Mall, 6 injured. I was just going to the mall when I heard the news. Oh, gosh. That's terrible. I'm glad you didn't go to that, and I hope everybody's okay. Yeah, Raina, it is real life. It's crazy. Hi, Shay. Carol Boyce. I'll play it again in just a second here as more people come in, but I'm going to read this to you first. Hi, Kathy. So let me just get this here. So the Northport Police told Wink News on Monday that investigators made mistakes in the Brian Laundrie case. The Northport Police Department says they thought they were keeping a close eye on Brian before he went missing. Northport PD had cameras set up around the Laundrie family home, but that strategy was not successful. But this also is problematic because weren't those cameras set up after he went to the park after Monday? I thought that's what it was. I'll have to get those dates again. If anybody has them in the chat, put them down. But it also doesn't make sense if they were tracking him and he went into that reserve. How did they know where he was on Tuesday and Wednesday? So, okay, that strategy was not successful. Those who were watching the Laundrie house saw Brian leave in his gray Mustang. They then thought they saw him return days later, but they mixed up Brian and his mom. The mistake cost taxpayers quite a bit of money, like $5 million plus? And cost law enforcement a great deal of time, energy, and manpower. Northport police believe Brian Laundrie looks very much like his mother. Josh Taylor is the public information officer for the Northport Police Department. They're kind of built similarly, said Taylor. Taylor said Northport police began tracking Brian after his fiancée Gabby Petito's family reported her missing in the state of New York. They reported her missing on Saturday, September 11th. Police then watched him leave in his Mustang on Monday, September 13th, and he returned on Wednesday, September 15th. Todd Garrison is the Northport police chief and says, and I quote, "All I'm going to say is we know where Brian Laundrie is at," said Garrison, Garrison made that comment on Thursday, September 16th. Northport PD was confident that Brian was inside the Laundrie family home on Wabasso Avenue. Everything changed the next day, Friday, September 17th, when the family reported him missing. That was certainly news to us that they had not seen him, Josh Taylor said. We thought that we saw Brian initially come back into that home on Wednesday. Of course, the world knows that wasn't the case, but we know that that wasn't true, said Taylor. Chris and Roberta, Brian's parents, told investigators they hadn't seen their son since Tuesday. Later, the family changed the date to Monday, the 13th of September. So who did the investigators actually see? Josh Taylor says, I believe it was his mom, who was wearing a baseball cap. And I quote him saying, they had returned from the park with that Mustang. So who does that, right? Like, if you think your son's missing since Tuesday, you're going to bring his car back to the home? So it didn't make sense that anyone would do that if he wasn't there. So the individual getting out with a baseball cap we thought was Brian, said Taylor. Now, Josh Taylor admits the Northport Police Department made a costly mistake, but then says no case is perfect. No matter who was driving the Mustang back to the Laundrie house, Northport Police had no idea where Brian went after he left his parents' house on September 13th. Correct, exactly. And now we know that he went to the Carlton Reserve and likely never left again. Police found the car at the reserve the very next day, which was Tuesday. His parents returned the car to the home on Wednesday. As for the family's infamous red pickup truck, that's gone because Stephen Bertolino said the parents are grieving in an undisclosed location. So they're not at the home anymore. I truly think they've been spending this time packing things up in the inside of that house. I kind of think they're not going to return to that house anytime soon, and maybe not at all, and maybe they're just going to get a realtor and get it up for sale. I don't know. And have somebody, move the stuff out. I think they've been doing a lot of packing, though. That's just my feeling on that. But I'm going to play the interview for you again. Hang on, let me just...
Live in Northport, Erica Jackson.
I'm trying to cue this up here.
Reporter Eric Brian before he was...
I'm just going to pull this over.
Reported missing.
Nicole, Northport PD had surveillance set up around the Laundrie home, but that strategy failed. The people responsible for watching the Laundrie house saw Brian leave in his silver Mustang, that car parked in the driveway, and then they thought they saw him come back a few days later. But no, they mixed up Brian and his mom. Like mother, like son. Do you see the resemblance? Northport police think Brian Laundrie looks very much like his mom, Roberta.
They're kind of built similarly.
Northport PD spokesperson Josh Taylor told me police started tracking Brian after Gabby Petito's family reported her missing in New York. That was Saturday, September 11th. Police watched him leave in his Mustang Monday, September 13th, and come back Wednesday, September 15th.
All I'm going to say is I know where Brian's at.
Chief Todd Garrison made that comment on Thursday, September 16th, confident he knew Brian was inside his parents' home. That changed the next day, Friday, September 17th.
When the family reported him on Friday, that was certainly news to us that they had not seen him. We thought that we'd seen Brian initially come back into that home on that Wednesday.
But Chris and Roberta Laundrie told investigators they hadn't seen their son since Tuesday. They later changed their statement to Monday.
Was it just someone else that you saw?
I believe it was his mom who was wearing a baseball cap. They had returned from the park with that Mustang. So who does that, right? Like, if you think your son's missing since Tuesday, you're going to bring his car back to the home. So it didn't make sense that anyone would do that if he wasn't there. So the individual getting out with a baseball cap we thought was Brian.
Taylor admits it was a costly mistake.
No case is perfect.
Now, we all know that Brian Laundrie went to the Myakkahatchee Environmental Park on September 13th.
Remy, they had lots of boxes in their house. Remember, they also just emptied storage containers into there and get boxes delivered. They had lots of boxes delivered from Amazon, plus they have a business. There were lots of boxes in the house, and you can have boxes in the house where they could have been packing. But I don't know why, that was what you came in here for, because...
And likely never left again. And if you look behind me, you can see that the Laundrie's infamous red truck is missing from the driveway. The family's attorney tells me that his parents are currently grieving at an undisclosed location. Live in Northport, Erica Jackson, Wink News now.
Okay, so yeah, we're here to talk about this right now. So you can have boxes in the attic too. I mean, it's nothing here. That's just my opinion. We don't really have to discuss that. I don't think they're going to return anytime soon. I don't think they are. I don't think they're going to live in that neighborhood. I don't think who would want that. I don't know. That's my opinion. Mine. Nobody else's. I don't blame them if they want to move either, Candy. I mean, really. I don't think they'll have any kind of life in that neighborhood. Anyway. That's not what we're discussing. We're discussing what this interview said, where they mistook Roberta Laundrie for Brian. Now, I'd like to know what time of the day that was. Was that in the broad daylight? Was it under the cover of darkness? When was that they would mistake these two people? And every picture I see of Roberta Laundrie getting out, she's holding this big bag, either on her shoulder or in front of her arms, like on her forearms, like in front of her. So, that's interesting right there. Why they would do that. So, they actually sold that other property, Remy, on July 30th. The condo has been sold. So, yeah, that's interesting. They brought it back during the day. That's what I thought, Mimi. So, I mean, that's even worse, okay? During the day, mistaking Roberta. I mean, even, I've got to imagine every bit of the way she moves is different from a 23-year-old man, right? That getting out of the Mustang would be totally different than you would think a 23-year-old guy would look like getting out of the Mustang. I'd love to see some video on that Mustang coming back. I wonder if they have anything like that, but she wears a pink ball cap. Every picture I've seen him, he's in this beige or type of ball cap. Her hips and everything quite different than his. Just really crazy. Now this, forget about the water bottle, all of that. This is a really big deal. This is a really big mistake. Josh Taylor says, oh, well, no investigation's perfect. They have so many mistakes here. It's just unbelievable, because if they were tracking him, what did they say on Tuesday? On Wednesday? Why wasn't somebody watching to see who got into the Mustang from the park? Not just at the house. If they followed him into the park, why wasn't somebody sitting on that Mustang? Then there's no way they could mistake the Laundries from driving there and getting in that car. Remy, not if they were surveilling him. If somebody's being surveilled, there shouldn't be days that they don't know where they are. And at the very least, they should have been watching the Mustang, the last vehicle that he got out of, at the very least. But apparently they weren't, because they didn't see the Laundries arrive and the mother get out and get into the Mustang and drive it home. Benton, the reason they thought they knew exactly when the police chief said, I know exactly where Brian Laundrie is, the reason they didn't is because when they saw the Mustang come home to the house on Wednesday, September 15th, they mistook Roberta Laundrie for Brian. And I'll play the interview. It's very short. I'll play it again for those people that just came in. And you'll hear it from Josh Taylor's mouth.
Wink News happens now.
Live in the newsroom.
Wink News now.
Wink News now.
To making mistakes in the Brian Laundrie case.
In that Wink News exclusive today from the Northport Police, and Wink News reporter Erica Jackson joins us live from Northport. Erica, the Northport Police Department thought that they had a close eye on Brian before he was reported missing.
Nicole, Northport PD had surveillance set up around the Laundrie home, but that strategy failed. The people responsible for watching the Laundrie house saw Brian leave in his silver Mustang, that car parked in the driveway, and then they thought they saw him come back a few days later. But no, they mixed up Brian and his mom. Like mother, like son. Do you see the resemblance? Northport police think Brian Laundrie looks very much like his mom, Roberta.
They're kind of built similarly.
Northport PD spokesperson Josh Taylor told me police started tracking Brian after Gabby Petito's family reported her missing in New York. That was Saturday, September 11th. Police watched him leave in his Mustang Monday, September 13th, and come back Wednesday, September 15th.
All I'm going to say is I know where Brian's at.
Chief Todd Garrison made that comment on Thursday, September 16th, confident he knew Brian was inside his parents' home. That changed the next day, Friday, September 17th.
When the family reported him on Friday, that was certainly news to us that they had not seen him. We thought that we'd seen Brian initially come back into that home on that Wednesday.
But Chris and Roberta Laundrie told investigators they hadn't seen their son since Tuesday. They later changed their statement to Monday.
Was it just someone else that you saw?
I believe it was his mom who was wearing a baseball cap. They had returned from the park with that Mustang. So who does that, right? Like, if you think your son's missing since Tuesday, you're going to bring his car back to the home. So it didn't make sense that anyone would do that if he wasn't there. So the individual getting out with a baseball cap we thought was Brian.
Taylor admits it was a costly mistake.
No case is perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Now, we all know that Brian Laundrie went to the Myakkahatchee Environmental Park on September 13th and likely never left again. And if you look behind me, you can see that the Laundrie's infamous red truck is missing from the driveway. The family's attorney tells me that his parents are currently grieving at an undisclosed location.
Okay, so that's crazy, right? Let me see if I want to see if Brian Enton has anything else on this. That's crazy. That is just really crazy. So Brian Enton, yep, this is the same thing. Northport Police. Public Information Officer Josh Taylor says officers thought they saw Brian Laundrie coming home in the Mustang Wednesday, September 15th, but it was actually his mom, Roberta. Taylor tells me because Roberta was wearing a baseball cap, officers were confused and made the mistake. Taylor said this is why the police chief said on Thursday, September 16th, that he knew where Brian Laundrie was when in fact he didn't. And I just want to read through some of the comments on this, just to hear what people are saying. Okay, so someone says, why does this remind me of the police in Weekend in Bernie's? Someone says, in the article it reads, they're kind of built similar, says Josh Taylor. I about died laughing. Someone said, how tall is Brian Laundrie? He's 5'8". And how tall is his mom? I'm not sure how tall she is. I think she might be around 5'4". Not to mention, I'm not sure I've ever seen her without a flowy top on. Correct. So could someone please help me understand? There really is no way to make you understand there. Oh, and she has hair and he doesn't. Correct. So someone said, who knew a baseball cap could transform a whole person? Yes. And someone said, who knew they were so similar, and posted, let me see this picture. Of the two side by side. Somebody said, so Wednesday the 15th, when all news media was out already looking for Brian Laundrie, Josh Taylor thought it was Brian. Fire Josh Taylor. The very least that should be done to get justice for Gabby Petito. We believe on the 17th, moments before FBI entered the home, Brian fled. This is somebody saying that. Okay, that's their opinion. Someone said, I'm not defending the NPPD's actions or lack thereof, but please understand that a public information officer is essentially just a mouthpiece for the agency. I can guarantee Josh is not thrilled to be the one having to get in front of the cameras and speak on NPPD dropping the ball. Someone else said, how did law enforcement not notice that Chris and Roberta both got in and left in the red truck to go pick up the car? Exactly. Then one returns in the truck and one returns in the car. Yeah, I'm wondering that too. I'm right there. Someone says, also, what about the parents both supposedly left to search the reserve on their own for 5 hours the day after Brian left? Did this even happen? Yes, that's what Bertolino said. I'm curious about that too. Let's see. How long was he really gone for? That's the new question. Someone said, the only thing crazier that could come out at this point is that the parents found Brian Laundrie when they went to search for him and something terrible happened in the reserve. I don't believe that's what happened, but with this case, who even knows anymore? Time will tell. And then someone else. Put those pictures side by side. You're telling me they mistook this for Brian? What is even happening? And another photo. And see, yeah, Roberta always has a very large bag with her. But come on. And somebody said, that's clearly a 20-something-year-old man. Come on, the clothes, the build, the purse. Somebody else said, you've got to be kidding. What sort of police officers are they? Because Roberta was wearing a baseball cap, officers were confused and made the mistake. Never assume. I could be wrong, but didn't the Laundrie say that Brian left on the 13th or 14th in the Mustang? Obviously, they're not. No, they said the 14th, and they had to change it to the 13th because of what the FBI saw. I mean, what they told the FBI, it was discretion, so a discrepancy, and then they said, no, I guess it must be the 13th. Like they forgot what day he went. So the officer could tell a rounded mom-type figure. Couldn't tell. It must be couldn't tell. A rounded mom-type figure from a lanky male figure because she was wearing a baseball cap? Someone said there needs to be an independent investigation into the sloppy police work of the Northport Police. I agree. But it's not because of a water bottle. It's because of crap like this. Seriously, they look similar, someone said. And didn't Taylor tell you just the other day that they just missed Brian leaving, and now he says they actually did see him leave? And another picture, which I think is really telling, because there's a difference in the way a woman of this age is going to get out of the car as opposed to a 23-year-old guy. It's just, I don't know. Height, weight, build, hair, breast, face, fashion, dress, but the baseball cap fooled them? There are police officers trained to report observed details, perpetrator descriptions. Just know how. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'd say most people are really, really wondering what the freak happened. Right? According to Josh, Ray of Light says, they witnessed him leave in the Mustang that day, so they just chose not to follow him. Well, they said they knew, Josh said that they knew the Mustang was there, that they observed it there. That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand, Ray, because if they did, didn't they watch that Mustang? And wouldn't they have seen the parents come and pick it up? Candy Smith says, let's face it, NPPD just said any old thing just to cover themselves. Well, I don't think, cover themselves. They're making themselves look like bumbling idiots. Let's put it that way. Betamax. What is that, Robin? One would think so, Carolyn, but apparently not. They're making the situation look worse and worse. Yeah. This is just crazy. You know what I'm thinking, too? I'm kind of thinking that if they put this out, there's probably way worse to come. If this is the first thing that they're putting out. And it's kind of like with Moab, you saw stuff happen before that second camera was released. And then the chief of police takes a leave of absence. And then the woman that's supposed to be getting the information out to people is not there anymore and she's on a leave. I wonder who's going to be taking leaves of absence from the Northport Police Department. Hi, Angela. Hey, Jen B, I haven't seen you in ages. How are you? Would they have not got a call from the police to come get that Mustang before? They put a abandoned vehicle notice on it. And I just don't know why they weren't watching it to see who got into the car. Nikki B says, I'm afraid of what they'll say or do next. Hi, Captain Kangaroo. How are you? I can't even understand this. Yeah, there's Brian. I got him on the surveillance. you remember, because I want to see the surveillance reports, because they're supposed to have detailed reports. If you remember in the Watts discovery, the details of watching Chris, okay, he was under surveillance. They watched him and took meticulous notes. And when they lost him for literally 2 minutes, when the officer was watching him and he had the Lexus parked on the street, and he took the truck was on the street, excuse me, and he was in the Lexus, and he stopped and he transferred things over, and then they lost him for like 2 minutes. He came back, and then he did that again. That was all down there. I want to see what they're saying about, him getting out of the car. I really want to read that surveillance report really well. I very much. Very much. Yeah, right. They put the abandoned vehicle on it, but they're not watching it? Come on. Video Reel says, I'm not going to deny it. If I were Gabby's father, I'd probably be locked up right now. Total insanity how this case was handled. I agree, Video Reel. That poor family, because it is just like this case was fumbled from the get-go. My gosh, you have Moab that messed up so badly. Then you have Northport. Which delayed finding her body and everything. Oh my gosh, because he was back in September 1st. This is just crazy. How? Yeah, they look a lot alike. It's just nuts. I imagine we're going to see people taking leaves of absence really soon. He just said no investigation is perfect. Okay. Okay. The officer who put the ticket on the Mustang had to have suspected Brian. Well, yeah, they said they know that he left. So I don't know. They didn't know. They didn't have the plate of his Mustang. And when that abandoned vehicle went on there, they didn't know that was his Mustang. Somebody that they're trying to surveil. Seriously? How could they have filled out an abandoned vehicle report and not understand that that was his vehicle? Are we really supposed to understand that they didn't know where he went? I am so not understanding this at all. I'm going to play that interview just one more time for people that just came in, and I just want to hear something again as to what he says. It's crazy. Hold on, I'm just going to get the... Where did I put that? Where did I put my... Hold on, let me get my thing. Oh, two are deceased in that Idaho mall shooting, Kim D. It says 2 die, 4 injured in Idaho mall shooting. Oh, prayers for them. Okay, I'm going to put this back up here.
Wink News happen.
Investigators admit to making mistakes in the Brian Laundrie case.
In that Wink News exclusive today from the Northport Police, and Wink News reporter Erica Jackson joins us live from Northport. Erica, the Northport Police Department thought that they had a close eye on Brian before he was reported missing.
Nicole, Northport PD had surveillance set up around the Laundrie home, but that strategy failed. The people responsible for watching the Laundrie house saw Brian leave in his silver Mustang, that car parked in the driveway, and then they thought they saw him come back a few days later. But no, they mixed up Brian and his mom. Like mother, like son. Do you see the resemblance? Northport police think Brian Laundrie looks very much like his mom, Roberta.
They're kind of built similarly.
Northport PD spokesperson Josh Taylor told me police started tracking Brian after Gabby Petito's family reported her missing in New York. That was Saturday, September 11th. Police watched him leave in his Mustang Monday, September 13th, and come back Wednesday, September 15th.
All I'm going to say is I know where Brian's at.
Chief Todd Garrison made that comment on Thursday, September 16th, confident he knew Brian was inside his parents' home. That changed the next day, Friday, September 17th.
When the family reported him on Friday, that was certainly news to us that they had not seen him. We thought that we'd seen Brian initially come back into that home on that Wednesday.
But Chris and Roberta Laundrie told investigators they hadn't seen their son since Tuesday. They later changed their statement to Monday.
Was it just someone else that you saw?
I believe it was his mom who was wearing a baseball cap. They had returned from the park with that Mustang. So who does that, right? Like, if you think your son's missing since Tuesday, you're going to bring his car back to the home. So it didn't make sense that anyone would do that if he wasn't there. So
I think it's hysterical that he's blaming what they did. Now, usually when someone's under surveillance, it's because they're suspected of something. So they should be acting like they're not going to do normal things, right? They're not. And yet he's like shocked, like, who does that? It's like, it's not our fault. Who does something like that? I just love the way he says that. Who does that, right? Does that make sense?
Individual getting out with a baseball cap we thought was Brian.
Taylor admits it was a costly mistake.
No case is perfect.
Now, we all know that Brian Laundrie went to the Myakkahatchee Environmental Park on September 13th and likely never left again. And if you look behind me, you can see that the Laundrie's infamous red truck is missing from the driveway. The family's attorney tells me that his parents are currently grieving at an undisclosed location. Live in Northport, Erica Jackson, Wink News Now.
Crazy. Just baffling. Who does that, right? I'm sorry, I just can't. Oh my gosh. 5 million. What is that? Wasn't it $5 million? Gen B, I believe it's close to 5 million. I think it's over 5 million. So crazy, just so crazy. Who does that? That's really the right? Who does that? Well, capris, blouse. Yeah, she normally wears flowy shirts. She normally is carrying a very large bag either in front of her or on her shoulder. She's got hair that comes out of the back of the baseball cap. And I imagine she's going to be getting out in a very different way than a 23-year-old guy would get out of a car. 23-year-old guy is going to just jump right out of that car. She's probably going to be more gingerly getting out of the car, okay? As we saw in the other one, where she actually got out and like turned around. She didn't just close the door and just get out. The other thing is, this Mustang, is this registered to Brian? Because doesn't the mother drive this car? And if it's registered to Brian, the mother doesn't have a car? You know, I'm wondering that. Do they only have the one truck? And I wouldn't picture Brian, who's so careful about, you know, everything he consumes, the energy. I would picture him having something like a Prius, you know, like a hybrid at least. I wouldn't picture him with that. I don't know. But it kind of, to me, it seems like it's the mother's car that he used. But they keep saying it's Brian's Mustang. Every time they talk about it as Brian's Mustang. I don't know. I thought it was registered to Roberta too, but they wake up, they keep saying it's Brian's Mustang. Why are they saying that? Yep. Dare to be different. Exactly what I think. It's Mom's Mustang. But there's a lot of people saying that's Brian's Mustang. A lot of people, even in the police department, saying that's Brian's Mustang. So it's neither here nor there. I'm convinced it's the mother's Mustang, and he drives it sometimes. But at the end of the day, you think you're running cartel laundry. Exactly, Deanna. Exactly. If they went there to put an abandoned vehicle report on it, they had the license plate. They should have known, oh my gosh, this is that guy that someone's supposed to be surveilling. Right? I don't know. It's so crazy. This whole thing is crazy. But anyway, yeah, that's the next part of the saga. This is nuts. I'm going to go and have dinner because I got back from my bike ride and I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. But yeah, this is just crazy. I wonder that Florida has very, very, with the freedom of information. I mean, they released their discovery and stuff like in the Casey Anthony case. It was coming out like before, so much before the trial and everything. I hope that we start to see some of these documents unredacted as soon as possible. Because, you know, they should just fess up to what the freak is going on. And it's not like he was in another country either. Right, exactly. But I'll see you guys later. I'm starving. I hope that you guys have a good dinner, lunch, or breakfast wherever you are. And I'll see you later. Everybody take care. God bless. Prayers for the people in Boise. So they're at that mall shooting, and I'm glad again you weren't there, Kim D. And prayers for those that are lost and those that are injured. Terrible. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Let me see how I get out of here. I've got to, I just have to end this. Okay.